shopping every day, or went out to the mall, went out to eat, or you might have did stuff you wasn't supposed to do because money was yours. And you see, spending money isn't a sin, but being very wasteful with your money is a sin. And boys and girls, God hates sin. Sin is anything we think, say, or do that displeases God, like lying to our parents, cheating on the test, or maybe disobeying our parents. Well, you see, boys and girls, a famine came, and the food became very expensive. And one day, his friends might have come up to him and asked if he wanted to go out, and he might have looked into his money bag, and then he might have shook it out, and then he realized he had no money left. So he had to get a job. But boys and girls, the only job that he could find was feeding pigs. And back then, boys and girls, feeding pigs was the lowest of lows. Because what the pigs ate was just leftover food. Have any of you ever looked into the trash can at school and maybe saw spaghetti and applesauce and chocolate milk all mixed together and it made you sick? Well, that's what they ate, boys and girls. And you see the son, he might have lifted it up with his hands, even put it up to his mouth, and he might even tasted it too. But then it says in Luke 15, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father." You see, boys and girls, back at home, the father, he might have looked out the window every day or walked down the road and looked to see if his son was there. But every time he looked, boys and girls, there was no one. Well, one day, he decided to go out and look again. And he looked, and he spotted someone, but he waited until he got a little closer and looked again, and it was his son. His son had come home. Well, you see, boys and girls, it says in Luke 15, "But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring me the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring a fattened cow and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For the son of mine was lost and is alive again.'" Well, let's go back to our verse, boys and girls. But this time, we're going to say the entire thing. Will you say it with me? Isaiah 53:6. "All of us have strayed away like sheep. We have left God's path to follow our own. Yet the Lord laid on him the guilt and sins of us all." I'm going to use my blue blacker to help explain this verse just a little bit better. The black, it represents sin. And you know how I said earlier how sin is anything we think, say, or do that displeases God? Like lying to our parents, cheating on a test, or maybe even disobeying our parents? Well, that's the first part of our verse.